Hola, brother. Welcome. How are you, brother? How was your evening? What did you have for dinner, brother?
Oh, it's had some Indonesian food with flatmates up in front. They still having a yarn, but I just came out the back into the flat. Decided, stay away from them.
Indonesian food. Was it like a curry or something, brother?
Yeah. Oh, bit of curry, coconut rice,
Coconut rice.
uh, Indonesian spring rolls. So there's different varieties, but it was good.
All the things that you shouldn't be eating, eh?
Bad thing is we have food tomorrow, so
Well,
uh,
how's your training been, brother? You guys are back to training? What's been that like?
yeah, training's been good. At the moment we're in groups, but training's been good. Boys have been working hard during the break, and now we are back together, which is good. Good to see the boys, even though we're in two groups. But good to be back with the boys, running and passing the ball around. Good.
What about the skin falls? Do you guys have to do skin falls after the little bit of a
Up
break?
in pause yet, so yeah. Hopefully not for months.
Huh?
Hopefully next.
Some of the boys will have to stay back, eh?
Oh, fingers, man. The good thing is we're still in lockdown, so 2 meters apart still, so it's good.
Okay. So no contact for a little while.
Yeah, that's the good thing. But we'll we'll still get checked anyway. So
So I just want to really honor your time, brother, for coming on board and just to share your own journey or your story, because I know it can be really, really nerve-wracking and scary,
mm,
because sometimes we all have different challenges in life. And so I'm going to start with the easy question. So we're going to talk about life and faith and beyond faith,
yeah,
and just to get to know you a little bit better and how others can actually be encouraged through this. So I guess kick us off with the first question. Number one was like, what is one of the highlights of good a memory that you really cherish playing rugby? You're like a Crusader, and we really hate you from Auckland. I grew up in Auckland. We don't like the Crusaders. It's like the one-eyed Crusaders, but you guys seem to win a lot of championship. I think the
yeah.
work ethic there and the culture, and what is it like a couple of memories that you really cherish playing rugby for Crusaders, and just share your thoughts on that.
Yeah. One of my favorite Crusader moments, probably one of the best highlights of my career, is I was named for my debut. That
Okay.
week, I had to come off the bench, but through the week, I just had that feeling like you know that I was gonna start. I don't know how, but it's just a feeling like itchy feet saying that you're gonna start. But when the team was named on Monday, I was number 23 on the bench, so I
Okay.
didn't worry. After training on a Monday, Tuesday, on a day off, I was washing the dishes, and then I got a missed call from our backs coach. He was saying that call me back when you see this. So I was kind of like, why is he calling me? Am I out of the team? I'm like doubting myself again. Like, did I
Yeah.
just get kicked out? Negative thoughts coming to my mind. And then he called me and he was asking how I was, and I said, I'm good. I was just washing dishes. Sorry for missing your call. And he said, don't worry about it. And he said, you're going to be starting on Saturday. And I was like, what? And he said, you're going to
Yeah.
be starting on Saturday because the winger that was supposed to be starting, Digby Awane, one of the legends of the game, he broke
Yeah.
his finger. He trained at Tuesday and he made it worse. And I was told him that Wednesday that I was going to start, and I was just lost for words. I just didn't know what to say. I was already excited to be on the bench. To be
Yeah.
playing with, and for me to be named starting on the wing on my debut, it was just amazing. We played the game, we won that game, and I scored my first try for the Crusaders as well in that game. So yeah,
Wow.
that's probably one of the highlights of my career. and just to be out there with, the likes of Ryan Crotty and all those guys is just amazing.
So that was like your starting point of your kicking off your career. Who was that game
Yeah,
against?
the Blues.
Oh dear.
Yeah, it was against the Blues. Round
So
four.
was it on Christchurch?
Yeah, it was in Christchurch.
That would have been an interesting game because I think Crusaders, what is their work ethic like? As in, like, they have a great culture, it seems like. Crusaders, what is like a culture, something that you could describe in terms of the rugby culture for Crusaders?
Oh, it's just, people think that we have a magic potion or something that we, put in ourselves for the game. People, just think about those things. But for us, it's just one thing I describe, just the one word that I describe is the care. For the care for each other and how we carry ourselves and how we, just everyone's willing to help anyone, on the field, off the field. Everyone just has, that huge respect for each other. I think that brings out the best in people.
Okay.
If that's one word that I put for environment.
Wow.
It's just a level. Simple as that. It's just a level of care that yeah, simple. It's care, and the simple
Wow.
things just over and over again. That's one thing that I'd describe the Crusaders environment. Simple as one word is
Cool,
care.
man.
The level of care,
Wow.
for each other and what we do, as a sports person, who represent our families individually, yeah, it's just the care that we don't want to, put anyone down or let anyone down, but how we carry ourselves, how we train, how we play, and how we work hard for each other. Simple as that.
So, you're mentioning about working hard, so that leads us to the next question or thought. Because, you have faith in God, and sometimes you can equate faith, having faith in God does not eliminate your hard work, right? You still
Yeah.
have to work hard.
Yeah.
How would you describe, can you talk about the work ethic that you need to have in order for you to be really successful, but having faith in God as part of it, your journey?
100%. For me, I've always, growing up in Fiji, where I grew up, in Rewai, most
Okay.
people, back at home, it's always a struggle because people that I grew up with, most of them end up in prison, don't finish high school. Some of them just finished
Wow.
intermediate school, and I could see that happening around me. So for me, I had good parents that taught me um, you know to do the right things. But for me, as um, I wanted to be something better, to see, even though what's happening around me, you know, that's, their life, their choices that they make. For
Mm-hmm.
me, you know, from where I am now is, my life is built around prayer. For me, I remember from when I was a kid, my granddad taught me how to pray. You know, um, that was one thing he left with me before he passed away was, whatever you do, you pray about it. Anything you pray, but most important, you do the job because, God sees everything. That's one thing I've learned as I got older, especially coming into a professional environment. The harder you work, people, coach that goes around nowadays, the harder you work, the harder is it to surrender. But, for me, being a Christian, we know God can do big things, marvelous
Mm-hmm.
things. For me, I'm not just working hard, for the achievements. I know because for me, I'm working hard for something that's bigger than myself, and that's who I represent, and how I carry myself. And whatever I need to do, I might not be the fittest, I might not be the strongest, but I sure do know, my limit, my strength as a person. So for me, you know, I'll just work, whatever I need to do to be the best I can be, best individual. I just, do things without, being told, sit around
Yeah.
or, I guess hard work is one of the most important things. In James 2:17, faith without work is dead. So
Yeah.
it says in the Bible, so just work hard, keep working hard. And I guess when you come to a certain level, you know, um, when you, as the saying goes, when you do your best, God will do the rest. Simple as
Yeah.
that. You can only do so much. Where that we all that stops, that's where God comes in.
Amen. Amen. So I think so what that leads me to, I guess, not in order, but you're talking about your lessons or things that your grandparents taught you. What is the one thing that really struck you besides prayer, or your father or your mom and dad taught you when you were growing up? Because your environment that you grew up wasn't very, very good.
Me, one of the on, I'll never forget this. My granddad taught me. He said, no matter where you go, no matter what you achieve, never forget those who got you there. For me, I remember mum and dad used to go to work. My aunties, my uncles used to look after me. That's one thing he really taught me was, you know, no matter wherever you go, no matter what you have achieved, these people are the
Yeah.
people that raise you. I mean, I guess it's normal to for every Islander family. Family is the most important thing. That was the
Yes.
most. There was another thing apart from faith and prayer that he taught us was to never forget those who raised you. That was probably one thing I hold dear every time I go home. I try and spend the most time with my family, stay with them, take them out to the
Yeah.
movies, do anything that I could. Um, you know, I mean, nothing that I ever do would repay them for what they've done for me. But all I can do is give them the time that they gave me, to show them that
Mm-hmm.
I appreciate them and I still think about them, even though I earn more money than them. I
Yeah.
still think about. So I guess family is the most important thing that I've been taught growing up. Faith and family, those two main things.
Awesome. So next question is a bit of a tough one. So what really is there like specific events or things that took place in your life that really challenged your faith, that really solidified your faith journey with Jesus?
Mm.
Is there like, could you describe a couple of events that really tested your faith and then you
Yep.
still pursued God even in those midst of challenges?
Yep. There's one that I'm going to share is last year. For me, training at preseason, everything was going well. I've been training really well. I played really well.
Mm-hmm.
Um, preseason, played well the first game, and then coming to the second game, that's where I tore my ACL. Um, people when I done my ACL, a couple of days after, people were saying, how good I was. Um, you know, are you angry or sad in any way? For me, I remember when I got injured,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, I felt, that, a huge amount of, peace that came with it. I wasn't angry. I wasn't,
Yes.
I don't know if it was shock or anything, but yeah, I didn't feel any, anger towards anything, even though I was going so well, training so well, playing so well, and everything had to be cut off just like that. And when I was told that I was going to have surgery, I thought to myself, I didn't, I didn't, I remember I didn't say anything, to complain or say why did this happen to me. And I remember I just put my head down and I said, God, I said a short prayer and I said, God, I don't know how the next couple of months is going to be, but I give it all to you. That was probably one of the amazing things, to be very honest, that has ever happened to me. And it challenged my faith. It tested me as a person, and it really, you know, gave me, I never knew I had that in me because I remember a few years back, I tore my hamstring, missed out on the
Yes.
playoffs. I was angry, and something big like this, I was at peace. I felt like God was trying to prepare me for this moment. I felt like in that moment when I got injured, I felt, I felt at peace knowing that, you know, God is still in control. For me, I remember a couple of days after I was sitting down and I kept thinking, why, people usually get angry. People get angry at this or that, missing out on opportunities. But I was at peace. And I
Mm-hmm.
remember I thought to myself, who am I to question God? You know, for looking back at my life to where I was to where I am now, I told myself, who am I to question God? The plans for my life, Proverbs 16:1, we may make our plans, but God always has the final say. And for me, I felt at peace knowing that, whatever happens, happens. And that for me really, taught me more about myself. I learned more about myself
Yeah.
in the last couple of months out of the game than I ever did, um, learning more about the Bible, and it built me up as a person, as a character. Um, you know, God just used me in a different way, not on the field that I was hoping for. I was catching up with people and I was sharing with them about, what God's been doing in my life, just those little things, And, I've seen people, just come up to me and say, thank you, for giving up your time.
Wow.
And that was for me as God used me in a different way, not how I wanted it to be. I mean, that's what I've
Yes.
always wanted, for God to use me in a way that would glorify Him, but it's not how I wanted it to look like.
Yes.
I was hoping on the field, up on the big
Yeah.
stage, giving Him thanks, but, God knew, I felt like He said, no, I'm going to use you in a different way. So, when I was out of rugby, I was catching up with people, sharing with them, giving them my time, just trying to, you know, you, you know, to tell them about, who God is and what He has done in my life and what He can do for them. I felt like,
Yes.
it was just an amazing. I went to Tonga to go share with, to go do a charity, there,
Wow.
and me, where God has taken me, and I shared, I went there and, you know, I was just looking around and just see how, where God has taken me. He really, to the kids of Tonga, I went there and I gave, did some charities, some rugby drills and all of that. But it's just amazing, to go there and to see what God's, been doing in their life as well. So yeah, it was pretty cool to go out and to see that.
So God did great work in you more than external work during the time. Would you say
Yeah,
that?
yeah, 100%. It's just amazing how, through the adversities, that's one thing I've realized is God always turns up. When you think that you're just about to fall off a cliff, just that feeling of I'm just at that point where I just couldn't take it anymore. God always turns up, and that's just one thing I realized looking back, and that's why I remember, as I said before, who am I to question God for what He, for the plans He um, has for me, So, yeah, it's been an amazing journey. So, I wouldn't trade it for a thing. If I had to go back to playing, I actually wouldn't trade it for a thing. For the things that God has done in my life with, being able to share with other people, I'd never trade it for a thing. It's just been amazing.
What are some things that you could share with them? For example, there might be people watching this and they might be injured. They are professional rugby players in whatever area. What would you say one or two things that they could glean or get from you, a tip that could carry them through their dark days?
Oh, it is. No, it is hard because at times, everyone's different at the stages, of,
Yeah.
it's easy to say to someone just to pray, but it's I guess one thing is, to have the right people around you, that they will be there for you through the ups and downs. Those people, I think those people are the ones, that will make a difference. And the second one is just to trust, to that God is in control over everything. Over just to keep praying. But I guess those two main things is just have the right people around you, and second of all, just have faith that God, will show up. Will will turn up. In His own time, in His own way. And I'm sure He's got better things for your head. Probably not.
Yeah.
In a year, probably next 3 years, 4 years, and you'll see. When God works.
Yes. I think another question that I have for you is people are still trying to figure out this God thing, right? We're all on a different journey. What would you say to them about what you learned about who Jesus is for you in your own personal life?
That's a good question. For me, it's quite hard to explain. For something to be experienced, it's a whole different level. It's easy for me to say, but if people out there are still trying, still asking about their faith, um, you know, take time for yourself. Pray about it. And I guess for me personally, you know, last just the Easter that has gone like a few months back, I look at the cross and just for me, I'll get emotional every time I think about the cross because, for someone, to do that for me, someone that didn't even deserve it, to die for
Mm.
me on the cross, amazing that I can't explain, yeah, I'll get emotional every time, for someone to lay his life down for me, it's unexplainable. But yeah, if someone's out there, looking for faith, have the right people. Yeah, it's quite a tough one, but the experience is a different level. Yeah, it's easy to talk about it,
Yeah,
but to go through what God can do and who He is, it's just amazing.
fantastic. So I guess we're almost at time. So I just want to really thank you for giving up your time. I want to just pray for you and your family as we wrap
Yep.
up, that God really, really continues to use you in ways that you have never thought about. And just like that, you shared something from your own heart, going to Tonga, that you didn't expect God to do that, but God had a different avenue, different plans for your life. That even though during those difficult times, I remember calling you and praying for you, I think, when you were at the hospital. I don't know.
Yeah.
And seeing you grow throughout this phase of life. And we're all on a journey, and you're on a journey, and you're a great ambassador for Christ. And I really admire that, and I learn from you as much as we all learn from each other. And you have taught me a lot of things about Christ and just being who you are and not rushing into things. And I just really want to honor you, and I want to say thank you on behalf of the family of body of Christ for who you are, and that you continue to shine for God through the highs and lows. And I just want to say a quick prayer of a blessing over you, if that's okay with you. Father, we just thank you for Manasa, Lord. Thank you for the time that he's given us. Lord, you have a wonderful, wonderful plan, Father, for his life. You see his heart, Lord. You see exactly where he's at in life. And I just pray, Father, for the next phase of his life, next season of his life. I pray even as he's getting back into training, I pray, Father, for your blessing over him and his family. May you protect him on the field and off the field, that you will continue to give him great courage to share you, to share the goodness of God with the people around him. And I just pray a blessing over him. May the Lord bless you. May the Lord make his face shine upon you and be gracious to you. May the Lord lift up his countenance upon you and give you peace and joy and hope, and enlarge your heart to become all that God has you to be. I ask this in your name, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
Thanks again, brother, for your time.
Brother,
May God
me.
richly bless you.
Cheers. Thank you.